All right, we are live streaming through LinkedIn and my YouTube channels, Restless Minds and Behind the Code. So I've been building this web scraper AI agent on a desktop application, or GUI is what we call as far as not the web app. But the ultimate goal is to have the GUI open up on my desktop screen, and the agent will be incorporated onto that interface instead of the web app, and be able to web scrape these two websites, the FAR websites and the DFARS websites. Both websites are complicated for an AI agent to understand and scrape through. As we all know, it's a pretty heavy list of libraries that it takes time to actually learn the entire DFARS and FARS. So why I wanted to do this, right now the agent does not have the efficiency to work in long horizon tasks, meaning complex data. It's very efficient in simple data, but for complex data just like this, to retrieve information, that's where it has the most trouble with. And I'm not egging, the AI or OpenAI or Claude, but my ultimate goal is to take these models, these AI agents, as we all call it, and be able to trust it in the real world. Because it's very important, in my opinion, with trusting the agent. So I'm gonna run the GUI with the help of my virtual coworker. So the flow of the agent goes through a user query. The end user asks, what is FAR 52.212-1? The query analysis gets triggered, which determines if it's regulation query type, either DFARS or FARS. Then the data search happens, which goes back into the main SQL Server DB, or it'll actually go out to the website itself. So right now, at this point, there are no data locally hosted within this directory. So I wanted to go out and retrieve data from those two complex websites. Then it will generate evidence-based, meaning I need its output 100% accurate at all times. Meaning, because it deals with the FARS and DFARS, you can't mess that up at all times. It has to be 100% accurate at all times. So if I query something from the FARS website or the DFARS website, I have to get it 100% all the time. So the AI will be able to, potentially, will be able to give me evidence-based results 100%, and then it will show its answers with the sources and the confidence score. One thing I wanted to include when I run the GUI is, can we take the outputs and convert it into a semi-realistic training data set to train other AI agents, current AI agents, or new AI agents? So that's my ultimate goal, and to see how well it will handle very long, complex tasks, especially with looking at the FARS and DFARS. So I'm running the GUI right now. So the model right now I'm running is BERT. It's Intel's NPU model. I'm not running any API keys. When I start to notice the model that I'm using to progress further, I'm going to include that API key and test the differences between one large language model to another. So that's going to be part of my roadmap in this build. So right now it's loading up all the dependencies. It's in a .py file, and it's hosting Intel's BERT. I'll show you the model. You can get this off of Hugging Face. which makes it local instead of using an API key. Right. Widen this up so you can see on the screen. So the BERT optimization, I did not quantize or manipulate this model. I just downloaded off of Hugging Face and I started to use it for it to query and do web scraping from a GUI instead of the web app itself. It's a QDQ for Qualcomm, so it has the Snapdragon potential if incorporated in the actual Snapdragon laptop or microchip. And then what I'm using for the GUI is an open source framework called WX Widgets. It's a pretty awesome open source GUI. I have pretty good success with it, but with the overload of dependencies, with uploading a vector DB, the actual model itself, the entire DB itself, it tends not to work on an executable file. It works better on a web app, pretty much. So right now it is having issues with loading up the GUI, which is good because that's what I want to show out of this video, is showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the best part of vibe coding, is to focus on the genuinity of how we vibe code, because everybody vibe codes differently, and see what happens. So right now I'm only using one agent, and right now it's told to do many tasks. So it's told to retrieve data from the FARS website when we query it, and also the DFARS website. So we'll just wait for it to load up. So everyone's talking about synthetic data or real data. And in my journey with AI and PM and PTSD and understanding autism with my son, real data is the key. It doesn't matter how many times you simulate, you put this in some closed environment, real world actual data is the key. So I can run these science projects all day long, but at the ultimate day, I have to have real data at the end. So I established a database, embedded database. I have the aggregator set up, the extractors. I'm going to redo the schema. It's this schema is more built in from JetBrains, so this doesn't work well with Python as usual. Python doesn't really work well with other programming languages. It gets dirty in some way. So I'm going to redo the actual schema. So the intent of this actual main DB is to have the agent store training data sets or any type of queries into this main folder, and then generate a realistic, as close to realistic data from its web scraping with the info it actually provides. And the GUI, I'm using WX widgets. Optimizations, I'm including a benchmark along with the progress of the build and the agent itself. And I'm also running specific tests for it. I haven't ran any security test on it. I was thinking of running needle in a haystack test on it, but maybe when I get the model to work well with me and play well with me as far as queries I ask or questions I ask about, the FARS or a DFARS question. As you see here, if you see red, the agent is having trouble loading this main.py file. So what it did is, since it's taking long, it tested the file, and that red is showing what it's actually finding. So hopefully it'll fix it. And that is dirty code, in my opinion. So you have to vibe code, and the ultimate outcome is clean code, clean directory, clean everything. So you have to go back in there and double check the agent as far as what it's actually working on. That's for beginner, intermediate people who are just vibe coding, like myself. Like I said, it takes years of experience and trial and error to actually learn C and C++. So yeah, hats out and mad respect to those individuals whose expertise on C and C++. So as in previous live videos, I jailbroke the instructions for it to provide specific accomplishments in its tasks. So don't try that at home. It's just something for me to understand how inaccurate the AI can be. And it just reduces the question back and forth with the AI agent, and next thing you know, I'm having a debate with it when it's not a human being, which I have had in the past, and I'm sure we all had. All right, now it's trying to load up the GUI. So I'm not using any MCP behind this. I'm just using straight AI agent with straight DB. I'm using Nissan with this as far as the build and a virtual environment. As you see, it's still having some issues trying to load. So I'm going to go and configure its virtual environment. It has one, so let's remove one. So virtual environments are very important because it pretty much, it's like a safety net between the agent and the operating system. So just in case the agent goes out and decides to change some things on your programs, the virtual environment is the middleman, put it that way. Again, I gotta disable that, giving me another language. I think I gotta uninstall the plugins for all three languages for it not to give that to me anymore. So I really don't think AI agents are the key to, or the blue pill to, this entire AI movement. I think of AI agents more as thought partners, sidekicks, executive assistants in that way. It's just something to keep me in line and keep me up to date with simple to complex tasks. I'm not egging it. I'm not an AI doomer. I just want this thing to be straight damn accurate. So as you see here, this to me is bloat. So once it's done doing its so-called work, I'm gonna see if it's needed, and if not, I'll probably delete them, because this is bloat for me, and it's gonna interrupt the logic of the directory. So it's still seeing red. So somehow the configuration of logic is not aligned. So that's why it won't launch the GUI. Oh, we have traction, so let's see what happens. So that's a second attempt to launch the GUI. So make sure you watch out for the directory, because if you don't watch out and you keep querying it, you keep saying this is wrong, try again, this is wrong, try again. Out of the 10th time you do it, you're gonna have like 10 different .py files on here that you don't know where it came from, but then it came from all those queries and tasking the agent. So just be watchful on this this bloat. Again, the ultimate goal is to put it on a GUI and put it on a .exe file, not on a web app. I'm for the web app, but that's too easy in today's AI environment. I can go on Lovable and create this myself in about 10 seconds. But putting it on a .exe file and setting it to another user with full dependencies installed, oh, that would be life-changing, because it's challenging today. Also, one thing, the reason why I'm not API key user right now, because I'm not hating, but at the same time, I guess I'm more of a paranoid guy. So I want offline stuff. So if I'm able to do something offline and locally, then I can have more control of the AI agent, because face it, guys, there's no option to opt in, opt out on AI. Every time I open up Microsoft Word, that Copilot person, guys, appears, and it just irritates the hell out of me. Just which I can opt out. I try to uninstall Copilot on this 5-year-old laptop, but it keeps reappearing back every time it does its Windows updates. I even tried to the point where I won't update my laptop for a whole week, but then when I update it after that week, it goes back on. I'm like, damn. All right, so here's the GUI that I've been building. So don't clap yet, folks. Right now, it looks fine and pretty, but does it work? And okay. Augment said no, not ready. See, it's already, that's 3 .py files that it's not supposed to create. That's bloat. So now it's giving me a test. So we'll do a test button. So here is where long horizon tasks comes up close and personal and up front with the AI agent. Right now, it pretty much did hefty amount of work. So now it's thinking it actually succeeded, but it didn't. It actually outputted a test GUI with a test button, but right now it's thinking it actually did the actual task itself, which it didn't. So let's put in our micromanager hat and copy this snapshot and send it back to my coworker and let my coworker know that it needs more work. It's not what I'm asking for, and please fix. So paste that on, and then we'll say see the image. Can't really see, but manners. Like I said, please and thank you works fine with AI agents. To me, they tend to act better when you say please and thank you or manners. See the image and help me build out the actual GUI with all features and functionality working right. So we'll keep it simple. We're not going to enhance the prompt, and we'll just hit enter. Probably just close this and see what happens. I tend to leave that open because sometimes if I close it right away after I task the agent, it goes bonkers, and next thing you know, it's giving me a different GUI that I have not told it to do in a task. So sometimes I leave it open and then it closes up on itself. So once the agent is done, I'm going to probably stop there and clean the bloat. So I'm going to ask the agent about these 3 files if it's needed. If it's not, remove it, and then go back to attempting to launch a good working GUI. So as this is giving issues, let's give you a sneak peek of online vibe coding, which is pretty cool, but it doesn't make me think, so it just bores the hell out of me. So I'm going to use Bolt, and StackBlitz is pretty awesome to actually use as far as storing GitHub repositories, because it connects via cloud and so forth. Wait for my pen. All right, and then I'm going to go in Bolt. And this is another IDE AI agent builder. Sign in. All right, so we are in. So still working. So let's copy this entire prompt. Oh, okay. So let's try seeing if it works. So let's ask it, what is earned value management? All right, so with that vague question, to me, it doesn't want to answer it as naturally as another human being would do. So it still has generic responses. So I'd have to go back and test the vibe coder agent to correct this for me. Because I wanted to be able to go into the website through this GUI and search for whatever I'm asking it to do. So in the perfect world of that, when this works, I wanted to be able to generate either whatever query I'm asking. So it's either going to go DFARS or FARS and actually generate an actual data set that I can incorporate it into the weights and biases of any large language model and train the model from there. So I'm still working on the interface and how it should work in line with the weights and biases. And okay. And said that's it. So let's try pasting this and then give this other AI agent IDE a task to see how far or how much of a difference each agent works with the same task. Instead of saying a desktop application, we'll say a website of scraping. And we'll enhance the prompt. So also, folks, prompt engineering is not dead. It's more context engineering, to put it that way. All right, so let's test this out. So we've been online for 25 minutes. I'm about to start this right now and see how long it will take to actually develop a website with complex tasks for an AI agent. Right now, okay, it's still working. So let's start that. So 25 minutes on the online call. No joy in launching that GUI from the actual IDE and C line. So we'll see how fast this rolls out. So this is the normal vibe coding environment where you go into Lovable, Bolt, Data Button. You can also go, I think GitHub has something off the top of my head, but I know Vault, Lovable, Windsor 2 is pretty awesome in vibe coding online. Cursor 2 is pretty awesome. Replit 2 is pretty awesome. It's just once it gets long-winded in these tasks, it tends to run out of gas. So right now the agent is doing its work. So most likely Bolt is using probably GPT-5 just to stay in the AI game for customer use. But even when using GPT-5, I didn't really see any amazing difference between each model in the GPT family. Also, one thing I found it pretty frustrating about vibe coding on the web, it freezes up on you. So if you go into another tab and start to multitask and then go to a different app all in one thing, it freezes on you. So you're like, what the hell happened? And you're like refreshing it. And the next thing you know, the entire code is all messed up. So this requires money. So 71.6. So I pay $50 a month for this. I don't really use it. I try to use local stuff. With Bolt, and I'm sure with Lovable, you're able to see the code and you're able to change or edit the code itself. But in my opinion, in this environment of vibe coding, you're not fully in control. The agent is in control much better, or much, I guess, more access to with you than going into the actual IDE, because you can actually find a root cause and go through each folder and edit. So I'm curious if any AI agent can actually output that. Is yours can yours do the same thing as mine? I doubt it. So I try to keep myself busy with vibe coding. It irritates the hell out of me because one, I'm waiting for this agent to work and it's slow, so I tend to get irritated. So that's the reason why I learn Yeah, because I just can't stand waiting. I have PTSD, so this irritates the hell out of me. When I go on YouTube and Mr. Sam Altman is telling me that AGI is near, I'm like, no, dude. All right, so it's 92% accurate. Oh, so this task, even in Bolt, is pretty complex for it to achieve. And that is the ultimate outcome of this video. And every video I make is to understand the challenges of AI and how to help overcome those challenges, because it's in my iPhone, it's in my computer, it's everywhere. So I want to be able to trust it. 31 minutes, so about 5 minutes of this. So considering it's a complex task that it has to achieve, it may be the same amount of time to get it working in here for a working GUI on here. So let's have it, oh no, let's not run it yet. Let's copy this entire, all 4 folders and ask so going to analyze those files, and it's going to remove it if it's no longer needed. So don't think as AI agents as peasants. Think of them as your coworker, your virtual partner. So it's not rocket science. All right, so it removed the files. So now it obtained the main.py file. So once it's done, we're gonna have it load. So I could easily run it on the terminal, but I wanted to show how dependent I am on AI, to be honest. And you can tell, guilty as charged. I'm dependent on AI. So all you senior programmers and coders, God bless you, but I'm not offended if you cuss me out watching this video, or even if you stayed watching this video. All right, so make it work. So now let's go back into Bolt. Oh boy, still having issues. So let's open it up more. So Bolt has 3 options. You can go public with the code, secret, or private just to you. I normally keep it at secret, and then I change the name. One thing about AI, it's overrated with how it does naming conventions. So once it loads, it's most likely going to stay here from 10 minutes. But let's back it up with GitHub, and we'll just put FARS and DFARS web scraper agent. right? That way I have backup directory to load on an actual IDE. One thing I'm going to do is fix their website. It is not loading the right way. So it's up to you however you want to talk to the AI agent, but I found that talking to it this way makes it easier for it to do the task, which is pretty funny. So that's why I do it. My coworker. So right now it's telling me that I should see it, and I don't see it, buddy. So let's remind him I do not see the GUI on my desktop screen. Please fix it. So anybody putting on a AI product, executives don't want to see this sausage making stuff. They want to see the actual product, the product that works, that gives value, that's no magic trick in it. So I can do this all day, but the ultimate outcome is, does the damn app work? And does it provide true value as far as the output, as far as any inaccuracy? Can we show that? And how can we dissect that and improve on that inaccuracy? So my sessions or videos are not intent to be like, oh yeah, I'm making an AI app in seconds and you'll be rich as hell. Nope. I'm letting you know the hard truth. It takes work. It takes time. It takes time to learn what actually is coding and programming. Only if you're a beginner and intermediate, not for the senior folks. Senior folks can probably dissect this in a matter of seconds and go in and recompile the file and recompile the .exe file and then recompile the whole backend server in like less than an hour. So mad respects to them. All right. Bolt is still working hard and consuming my money. So I tried to dial it down with online vibe coding with this environment because it's a hefty price. I mean, if I keep tasking it over and over again, I'm gonna have like $1,000 bill to pay Bolt, and that's what that's what they want. They want to use the product, and which is fine for me, but I'm not rich, so yeah, that's why I try to go local and try to learn myself and see how I can dissect the problem. So it's about the same amount of time almost as far as it working to build this FARS and DFARS web skipper app on a website. And it's still having issues trying to load the actual GUI. All right, so there it is. Oh, it actually something kind of different. Oh. So it did change the layout, and which is something that I'm hoping Mr. Sam Altman fixes, because this wasn't the GUI before. So let's see if it works. So Design. It is earned value management. Let's see what happens. Okay, still generic. You see right there, it's not providing natural responses. I'm realizing that Augment doesn't like me pointing out his mistakes. So it's been doing that for quite some time. Let's try this again. I'll be nice, Augment. All right, what is earned value management? I understand you're asking about what is earned value management. It's still generic. This, to me, it's not functioning right, and it gives me the basic output. So it doesn't even give me where it can find it. So you still got to work on the output and the accuracy of the web scraping. And I'm thinking it's more on the Google DOM, HTML, and anti-bot system that Google's been implementing. So, and then we'll see. I might just probe the agent to see if that's the reason why it's giving me issues. But ultimate goal is to have this AI agent at least talk to me naturally, like a virtual coworker instead of generically, like a robot. I might just add the API key just to expedite this build so I can test the FARS and DFARS data set and how accurate it actually extracts from the actual website and provides results in real time based off the websites. So I'm curious to see how these tabs will come about. So I might just do that during the session. It's about 45 minutes. Oh, bulk agent is still having issues. I know if I ask it to make me a note-taking app, it'll probably do it in like 5 minutes or less than that. Go back to the IDE. So let's close this out and let's add a .env file to the code. Start all over. Take the directory. And incorporate a .env example file for me to use frontier models. All right, so it's not going to create a main folder. It's just going to add a .env.example file in this directory. That way I'll be able to connect with the actual file when I put my actual API key in it. So let's go back to Bolt. And it's still thinking. The day in the life of a vibe coder. Pretty exciting. All right, so it's going to generate the .env example file, so I can put my API keys. And there it is. So it gave me OpenAI, Anthropic, gave me Google, Cohere, Mistral, Together, Hugging Face, and it's giving me the database that's actually developed in here. Then it's giving me actual websites. So this here is concern because it's duplicates. I'm going to go back and find out why it's giving me 4 websites instead of 2. And then the problems, there are about 4 right now, which is not that bad. But we do need to check on the duplicates. Oh, one thing about what I'm doing, not sponsored or affiliated with the government. So yeah, this is just for educational purposes only. Apologize, excuse my manners. So eventually websites will start to use a anti-bot system to prevent vibe coders from actually web scraping at websites. So I'm sure that's going to come up. But to the government folks out there, I'm not using it to do bad stuff. So just trying to challenge the AI. So we'll go back to Vault. Oh, it's about to freeze. So we'll just let it be. Go back in here. 48 minutes. One thing I'm using as far as the minimum requirements, Python 3.9 or higher, a memory of 8 gigs, storage of 5 gigs, using Windows 10, 11, Linux or Mac OS. Like I said before, I'm using the Qualcomm Snapdragon Intel MPU. And here's the project structure. And I'm using Playwright, Spacey. So I'm going to upload this into my GitHub repository and keep it open source due to the fact of web scraping government sites. Like I said, I don't want to get in trouble. So yeah, keep it open source for you guys to take and download and use as your own. And I'll have the model also in the GitHub repository too, as far as the Intel BERT that you can download on Hugging Face. All right, so it's claiming it actually did it. So I'm going to ask it to launch the GUI. We'll do that. Let's go back to Vault. It's still thinking, still working. Okay, so wait for a few seconds and ask it to launch the GUI. See how it would react with not inputting my API keys. So also, as far as bipolar out there, go to school. So this entire environment using C++ and C, you need to go to school for this. Yes, you can have AI teach you, but like I said, you still have to apply this knowledge in the real world. So yeah, go to school, get certified, and do what's best. Let's go back to Vault. Why? So let's refresh. Let's see what happens. Not now. So it went from 71.4 to 71.1. All right. So let's go back to the IDE, keep it all, and then we'll just have it run the main GUI. So switch back to Vault, or it freezes up for me. All right, more simpler GUI. So one thing that you need to realize about coding with AI, having an AI virtual coder, it will always revert back to the simplest form. So if it opens up a complex user interface and something's wrong with it, and you try to go back and fix it, it will revert back to the most simplest environment, its most simplest UI that it can actually use and test out the features. So that's a good start. You can understand hello. So let's try what is earned value management. Okay, still generic. So it did something in the positive direction, and it's progressing. So having the .env file is helps, but putting in my actual API keys will probably solve this right away. And once I do that, that means I'm not gonna use the Intel BERT model. If I do, I'm probably gonna add a toggle on, toggle off button up here, so I can turn off API and turn back on API. But that's what's missing here is the connection with the API keys. So I didn't run any training data sets on it. What I'm trying to have it do is learn from what it's actually retrieving from those websites. Because like I said, I want to challenge it. if I were to say train on an Excel spreadsheet of FARS information and DFARS information, it doesn't challenge the model. So taking that a step further and challenging the model to find out where it's inefficient at. That's what I'm curious to find out. So that's why I don't have any weights and biases folder on here. Let's go back to Vault. Still thinking. So let's go into the code and see what it actually built out for us. So built almost the same directory structure as the C-line environment, but not as detailed. So going into the agent, the GUI, so it has the task manager, scraper coordinator. So I'm guessing the reason why it's not loading the right way is because it doesn't have the dependencies built out. As far as like SQL Server, doesn't have a .env file on here. So that's the reason why it's probably slow to load. So in these cases, the agent will create a simulation of this app and try to get that simulation as close as possible. So that way, when you include those dependencies, it will just behave the way that simulation works. So it's probably going to resort to that option right now since it's freezing up. Going back to the main GUI. So this here, to me, is confusing. So I'm going to ask the agent to dumb it down a little bit because there's no instructions. And if I can understand it, then anybody out there looking at this won't be able to understand it. So I'm going to work on fine-tuning the user interface, but give this a shot to see if it actually does some sort of work. Okay, so the functionality is working, but like I said, I'm always striving for the 100% accuracy. And this here is confusing. So yeah, same thing with the DFARS data set. So right now it's pointing as far as the real-time web scraping. So let's give this a shot to see how well it will perform in real time. So right now it's scraping. Scraping completed. So still needs more work as far as the results. So I'll put out part 2 of this live, and hopefully you'll be in part 2 of this session. We'll be going about an hour. I know it's a Friday, and people's heads are going to start to hurt with vibe coding because I'm switching screens left and right and doing all sorts of stuff. All right, another failed attempt to actually build an app. So bear with me. I'll get there. But like I said, it's the good, the bad, the ugly of AI. Have a good weekend and see you on my next session.